Welcome again. This is the Appian 22.4 product announcement webinar. My name is Malcolm Ross, VP of Product Strategy for Appian, and I'm joined here today by Dave Hillier, Principal Solutions Architect, Kelsey Ross, Senior Product Manager, Matthew Shutt, also Senior Product Manager, Kevin Gajowski, Senior Product Manager for Product Management, and April Schupel, Senior Developer Advocate. Thank you so much for joining us today and exploring the latest features of Appian 22.4. Before we begin, I'd like to thank also everyone who had a chance to join us in Sydney, Australia just last week for the Appian APJ conference. We had a fantastic turnout with well over 300 attendees from our customers and partners. So glad to also see you there personally in Australia over the past week. It was really great connecting again and exploring some of the latest capabilities of Appian together. In addition, just yesterday, thank you again for also attending the Appian Government Conference here in Washington, D.C. We had a fantastic conference with over 1,000 registrations and a huge number of attendees, as you can see from the picture. It's a really great, energizing conference to also kind of, again, learn the latest features of the Appian product, but also connect with our fellow practitioners and learn more about what other people are doing with the Appian platform. Now, if you'd like to connect with us one more time, there's one more opportunity. Next, in about 2 weeks in London on November 15th and 16th at Appian Europe. This is going to be again at the Intercontinental Hotel in London at the O2. If you'd like to check out more, encourage you to check out all of our registration information on the Appian events page. I'll go ahead and push a pop-up offer right now in regards to that. But of course, this is also a great opportunity to connect with myself. I'll be flying out to London as well as a number of our product experts and practitioners to learn more about how to apply the latest Appian features to your implementations and explore more how other people are using the Appian software to solve their digital transformation needs. Now, going on, let's jump right into Appian 22.4. Happy to announce that this is going to be the final release of Appian for 2022. The GA date of Appian 22.4 will be on November 11th. So that's next Friday. So all of our cloud customers will be able to start scheduling their upgrades in their personal environments, as well as our self-managed customers can then download the installers and start to apply those to their Appian installations once they download that after November 11th. Today, we're going to be talking about Appian process mining, low-code design improvements, Appian portals, process automation, data fabric, administration, cloud, and support features, and of course, the latest updates with Appian Community. Now, to help me out with the first introduction of Appian process mining, I'm going to invite Dave Hillier to the stage here to share a little bit more about what's new with Appian process mining. So, Dave, over to you.
Thank you, Malcolm. You're joining us today because you already believe in the value of building custom applications fast. You're likely already seeing impressive returns from simply investing in turning a manual process into a people-driven digital process. And I say people-driven because everything in Appian focuses on the value of your people and maximizing that. When you digitally transform your processes into Appian applications, everything gets better. Your people do more of what you hired them to do in a nicer way, and everybody benefits, both you and your customers. But is transforming a manual process into a digital one enough? Is your team using the application as you intended? And why is the process taking as long as it does? You know your app is bringing value, but can you actually quantify the return on investment you are getting? So the question is, can you do better? Can you continue to improve? And the answer is yes, and Appian can help you. In process mining, we call this optimization. And each quarter, we continue to optimize our process mining for your Appian apps. We start this time by introducing the Management Hub. Here we have done some cleaning and consolidated all of the management pages into one central place to make process mining easier to navigate. From here, you can add, edit, share, and delete logs, as well as process mining scorecards, models, dashboards, and filters. All of these capabilities are packed into a single, easy-to-use interface, which also declutters the sidebar and helps you find what you're looking for more quickly. We want to make sure the tools that you need are right at your fingertips, and you can spend your time instead extracting value from process mining and finding the insights that you need. As an added bonus, we've also added new guidance on each of the Management Hub pages to help steer you in the right direction when you're just getting started. This should be a very familiar addition. You can now quickly access process mining and mining prep using hyperlinks in the new navigation menu. What's more, when switching between these modules, your sign-in session will now persist, so that you don't need to sign in twice. Appian Process Mining and Mining Prep modules make a powerful pair, allowing you to quickly transform process data and start uncovering insights in process mining right away. We're always looking for new ways to save you valuable time, and with these improvements you'll notice much less friction when navigating between the two modules. Filters are a powerful way to narrow down your focus when working with large sets of data. They are now more accurate, more reliable, and clear and easy to use. In addition to performance improvements, we've added new in-product guidance that makes it more obvious which filters to choose and how to configure it for your specific needs. Lists throughout process mining now sort and search more reliably with better performance as well. There's a lot more coming. Process mining is evolving really rapidly, and we're running a limited 3-week preview program with selected customers. You'll get to work with some of our new beta features, including direct mining of Appian records and return on investment scorecards. If you would be interested to take part, please email your interest to processminingbeta@appian.com. In the meantime, if you would like to learn more about process mining in our platform, then please join us for this new webinar series. You'll learn from Appian experts how to rapidly mine your processes to improve the application's efficiency and continuously optimize them. So please bring your questions and ideas as Karina and Rami explore how process mining can help improve your customer and employee experiences, as well as increasing savings and helping you to embrace change.
Thanks, Dave. That was always great. And it can encourage you to follow that pop-up offer that we saw right there around joining us on December 7th. Both Karina and Rami will go through in more detail Appian's process mining capabilities. So to talk a little bit more about Appian, let's go on and talk about now Appian's low-code design capabilities. Now, when it comes to low-code design, we're talking about the overall IDE experience, how you build things in the overall environment. We have a number of nice updates to the platform to facilitate this. The first of which is that streamline application creation. Now, when you launch an application for the first time, you might have seen this before, but we made it a little bit more intuitive in a modal dialog pop-up, where you can start from building an application using a record type, process model, or starting with the user experience, a site or portal. These are logical starting points to begin your application design inside the Appian platform. Now, as you get into the Explore view, we also made it more evident to see all the objects forming an application. While the Explore view summarizes an application down to the essential elements, such as your user experiences, data records, processes, web APIs, the All Objects allows you to see all the supporting objects more quickly from the Explore view. In addition, on the application list view, you can see all the fellow collaborators you're working with more easily from the application lists. From here, I can see that 22.4 sample application I built for this webinar had 3 different participants working on it to build those sample use cases. Now, it's easy to visualize who your team members are and who's actively working on an application inside each application construct. In addition, we made it easier to build packages from the build view. So the build view, of course, is that listing of all the application components that go into an application design. And oftentimes I want to isolate just a few of these components to work on a smaller package for iterative deployment to my Appian production environment. So now you have that quick access to the create package action right at the top of the menu bar while inside the build view. Next, we have some refinements to the Appian designer experience. This allows filters that are now located above grids from within packages, as well as in the users and deploys views. These filters make it easier to quickly navigate all the different elements inside of all your packages, finding the right object you might want to be editing, as well as in the users and deploy view as mentioned. In addition, these filters have a fixed position header. So in like the application list view, When you choose to do that filter, as I scroll down, you'll notice that filter header is going to be remaining at the top of the screen in a fixed position, allowing me to easily browse all the content while maintaining what your filter context was. Now, more exciting, some little ease of use updates for our common developers is that you no longer need to rename interfaces and expression rules from the build view. You can now directly from the design experiences themselves go into the properties pane and rename these interfaces and expression rules right inside those property designers. So a nice easy use feature to quickly update the names of objects that you've been saving inside the Appian platform. In addition, a more impactful feature is rule input descriptions. Now, it's really important to have good documentation on all your design objects so you can effectively share that content and reuse it across your fellow developers. A big part of this is now adding rule input descriptions. Rule input descriptions, of course, give clarity to other developers what type of data needs to be passed into a specific rule input in order to activate a specific rule or expression, interface, integration, or decision. So very useful feature to give that extra layer of documentation and guidance to other developers to more easily reuse their objects. Also, for those date calculations, we've seen a lot of interesting behavior, we'll say, from developers to manipulate dates effectively. To make this simple, we've added two new rule functions, the add date time function and the subtract date type function, which makes it easy to now manipulate date and times. This allows you to give it a start date and time as an input parameter, and then define the number of years, months, days, hours, minutes, and seconds that you want to subtract or add to a date time. Now, more importantly, there's also a parameter here for using a process calendar. That first takes a Boolean, true or false, and then it takes the process calendar name. Now, as a reminder to configure your process calendar, go to the root designer and navigate to the All Objects view. From the All Objects view, if you click on the gear icon, you'll be able to navigate to the process calendar control. This allows you to set up new calendars or modify the default calendar to define your working business hours. So that if I only have a Monday through Friday working week and I want to take holidays on the Saturday and Sunday, then of course, when I use the add or subtract date time, it can skip over those days when thinking about adding or subtracting dates. This also takes into account your working hours, your start and end times for the working day. So you can do accurate calculations on maybe if I want something to do in 5 days to skip over those non-working days and hours. We also made it easier to quickly configure your sites. Now, you might have been enjoying this feature from a previous release of Appian, where we allow you to quickly jump to the interface design objects from the end user experience. Now you have the same behavior when also configuring sites. So if I go to a major site and click on that edit the page, which is available for designers or admins in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that activation link in the upper right-hand corner to jump directly to the site configuration. This saves you a lot of time from having to navigate back to the designer experience and go to that specific site object. Right from the end user experience, I can jump to the site, make my modifications, and jump right back into the end user UI. Now, for sale components, we added a new sale component for scatter charts. Now, scatter charts are a great way to compare data sets across a broad range of values to draw conclusions or see data correlations. So data sets, of course, or the scatter chart component can be populated by data sets from records, so very easy no-code configuration, or use whatever custom data models you want to populate the data inside. In addition, we also improve the formatting of currency across the charts. This adds to currency formatting for pounds, yen, and Swiss francs as well. So if you're using those specific dollar, pound, yen, Swiss franc amounts, simply select those configurations and easily configure your monetary values in that specific currency format. When it comes to charts as well, we've also improved the charts accessibility. This applies to the WCAG, or Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or what's also called 508 compliance for the U.S. federal government. This allows users to navigate visual charts with just a keyboard and also read with screen readers. So you no longer need to, say, create a separate textual rendering of a graphical chart. The graphical chart by itself will be navigable using a keyboard, and then as they navigate to each object, it'll automatically leverage a screen reader to read the content of the chart. So complete compatibility out of the box with 508 and Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. And finally, for Appian Sale, we allow you to preview components and patterns from inside the interface designer. It's a very useful feature to understand exactly what capabilities are available to me by looking at the components and patterns palette. As I hover over each object, you'll see a little preview of the exact configuration of that object, what it's going to visually look like before dragging and dropping it and placing it on your screen. And finally, if you remember in Appian 22.3's webinar, we introduced the concept of design.appian.com. Well, I will remind you that this is a great resource to go ahead and leverage to understand and kind of inspire your own product designs in the Appian platform. So design.appian.com is an anonymously available website that allows you to just kind of check out cool ideas for your next project, as well as directly copy code from these environments to maybe jumpstart your own implementation. As well as you think about design best practices, there's a number of guidelines that help you understand the best practices for visual design to create fantastic user experiences for your end users as well. So moving on, I'd like to continue the conversation around Appian's user experience with Appian portals. For this, I'm going to invite Kelsey Ross, who's one of our product managers for the Portals Initiative. Kelsey, over to you.
Thanks, Malcolm. I'm really excited I have the opportunity to be here today to talk to you all about the great enhancements we have coming to Portals with this release. But first, let's go over a quick refresher on what Appian portals are and why you're going to want to integrate them into your solutions. Appian portals were released as an application-based feature in 22.2, and they allow you to open up your application to external users, so no Appian credentials are required to access your application. And while it might be a relatively new feature, our customers are already finding exciting ways to leverage these new capabilities to provide incredible experiences for their customers and other users. Let's take AARP, for example. With more than 38 million members, AARP is the largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization in the United States dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. AARP was seeking a solution for collecting information from potential volunteers who are interested in helping to support AARP members who have been impacted by fraud, identity theft, and scams. In less than 4 weeks, utilizing Appian portals, AARP built a robust, secure, and engaging portal. On the Appian platform, managers are notified as soon as a volunteer contact form is submitted and can view the contents through a dedicated record list for each volunteer. This portal has been a game changer for the team working to help support their members impacted by fraud, and AARP is now looking to expand the functionality even further. Portals allow these volunteers to easily navigate the sign-up process, while ensuring for AARP a secure, intuitive, holistic user interface to kick off the vetting process. And I think we can all agree, all while adhering to an aesthetically pleasing, brand-aligned user experience. Appian portals were exactly the solution AARP needed to ensure that they weren't losing valuable volunteers through a confusing or difficult to navigate sign-up process. We know there are even more Appian portal possibilities out there, and we cannot wait to hear the stories you all will tell in the future when you're able to open your applications to all users and integrate portals into your business solutions. Now that we've had that refresher, let's take a look at what you can look forward to getting from Appian portals in this release. First off, we're really excited to announce the new portal design object. Introducing all the same functionality you've come to expect with Appian portals into the Appian Designer allows you to develop your portal solution alongside all other objects within your application. This brings the entire life cycle from creation to deployment into the Appian Designer, making it easier and more streamlined to maintain your portal with its essential associated objects. We continue to improve the look and feel of your portal as well. Now you can use the ABang document function as well as document and web content preview components, making it even easier to connect important data, documents, and information with your portal end users. Now, just because portals may be public does not mean they're not secure. We know you want to make sure that any data you're bringing in through your portal is serving your business. Google reCAPTCHA is now managed through a connected system. This allows you to easily create, test connections, and maintain credentials for your portal's security from within the new design object. We all know by now the importance of your data and making sure it can work for you. When bringing in information from external sources, you want to make sure you're conforming to an expected structure and reinforcing data best practices. You can easily reinforce the structure of your data inputs by using Appian record types within your portal. This is only the beginning of where we will take record types. Stay tuned for future releases as we expand on what's possible for record types within portals. Now, we obviously want to make it easy for you to connect to these outside users to bring in their valuable data, but it should be on your own terms and only when you're good and ready. We know how important it is for developers to have an environment to, develop and to test before they're ready for real user input. Lower environments are configured to include a UUID in the portal URL. This will help avoid users finding your portal before you're ready. By default, your production environment will not add a UUID to the URL, but if you find the need to make a change to this behavior, it can all be configured from within the admin console. Portals will fully and seamlessly integrate into your CI/CD pipeline regardless of your DevOps story. Whether you use manual, external, or direct deployments, portals can be packaged and deployed alongside their associated objects, and assuming everything is successful with your deployment, Appian will publish the portal on your target environment as part of the deployment lifecycle. Even portal precedents will trigger a publish for your portal to ensure your environment and your published portal always stay in sync. You can always see if your deployment resulted in a publish from the links provided to your published portal in the deployment view. Last but not least on this portal journey, we know that external users can mean more mobile users accessing your application. Progressive web apps provide a native app-like experience for browser applications. To ensure all users can easily access your new portal from their preferred devices, the Portal Designer allows you to configure your PWA experience from within your portal design object. As you can see, the configurations from the designer are then set by default when your users create a PWA for your portal, where they can then access the front door to your application from then on with just a single click. We can't wait to see what you build with these new Appian portal capabilities. Now I'm going to hand things back over so you can see what else you can look forward to in this release. Back to you, Malcolm.
Cool. Thanks, Kelsey. That's awesome. Again, portals is such an exciting feature. Can't wait to see what you're going to be building with it. Now, moving on, though, leveraging portals to the next topic in process automation. We're going to also transition to another one of our senior product managers, Matthew Schutt, to walk through the latest innovations Appian has with Appian 22.4 for process automation. Over to you, Matthew.
Thanks, Malcolm. I'm really excited to be here today to talk to everyone about all the enhancements we have coming to process automation with this release. Appian provides our customers with a complete enterprise platform for discovering opportunities for process improvement, designing powerful applications that digitize your business, and automating activities to gain full value of a digital transformation. Orchestrating work, eliminating inefficiencies, and accelerating your operational speed. Appian allows you to design, automate, and optimize all in one platform. Diving a little deeper, you can see how Appian's end-to-end capabilities allow you to accomplish this all on our platform. Appian gives you a complete set of capabilities. We've got process automation with RPA, APIs, business rules, and an entire palette of other automation capabilities. Today, we're going to share some great advances in this area, and we will have some very exciting announcements coming early next year. This diagram shows Appian's complete automation. We orchestrate people, RPA bots, AI models, and API integrations all within our one holistic end-to-end automation platform. This illustrates the vision we're seeking to achieve. Notice how workflow is the central orchestrator and unifier of these capabilities. With Appian, you're able to bring everything together in the same process model. So let's take a look at how this is reflected in Appian's new process modeler. We're so excited to show you this new feature. Introducing the modernized process modeler. You'll find the same powerful and versatile functionality as always, combined with a new state-of-the-art look. You'll find our modernized process modeler easier on the developer and the eyes, with new badge, node, and smart service icons that are intuitive and beautiful. Font controls have moved to the toolbar for a cleaner look and more convenient access to these controls. Assignment types are called out in swim lanes and in badge icons. This shows the actor for a given activity, whether nodes are handled by humans or the system. This allows you to quickly and easily see how your humans, bots, and AI are working together. Finally, we're helping make annotations clearer and more helpful by including annotation lines in the process model documentation. Process model annotations help developers understand the business context of process models, explain complex logic, and communicate with teammates. To generate documentation, simply go to your process model, Tools, Generate Documentation. We are very excited about the revamped process modeler, a new modern experience, and we look forward to seeing what you create. I'd now like to transition to Appian Robotic Process Automation, or RPA, where we have some exciting updates to share. You can now configure Appian RPA to automatically delete execution data you no longer need. You can specify a policy for deleting completed and canceled robotic processes. This will free up system disk space and help ensure peak performance. We've heard great feedback from developers on how the task recorder helps them rapidly develop, test, and execute both web browser and window automations. With each release, we make it easier and faster for you to capture your interactions with the task recorder. Now the task recorder is easier to use and more responsive as well. We added new tooltips to help explain options on the screen more clearly, a filtered application list to only show those available to record in, and showing which application or browser you're currently recording in. You'll also see more responsive interactions with overall performance updates. The enhanced task recorder will make it easier than ever for you to capture your automations. Security and scalability are important parts of any automation practice. Robotic processes need to comply with your security requirements and scale effectively to meet demand. If your infrastructure or security requirements require you to run robotic processes using non-administrator user accounts, you can allow Appian to do this for you by signing into your virtual machine or VM user session directly from the RPA console. You don't have to keep specific VM user sessions open and active anymore, just in case a robotic process could start. In this release, you can manually trigger Appian to sign into a VM as any designated user. When you enable this option, Appian uses designated credentials to sign into your resource and launch the agent as the designated user. Once the resource has been signed in, the agent will be online and you can proceed with executing your robotic processes on that resource as usual. Thank you to everyone who has tried Appian RPA and given us feedback. We strive to give you a great experience and are proud to see those experiences reflected from you. Here are a few recent reviews on Gartner Peer Insights. Best RPA software in the market. Low-code RPA and Kickstart support from Appian makes getting to digital maturity easier. Appian RPA is awesome and efficient for application automation. Thank you so much for your feedback. If you hadn't had a chance yet, come and try it out. Try it using our Appian Community Edition site and our training materials. If you need more help, please use the Automation Kickstart. This program allows you to access our automation experts to help guide you on your automation journeys. We can't wait to see what you build with these new automation capabilities. Now, I'm going to turn things back over to Malcolm so you can learn more about the other great features coming to the platform with this release. Back to you, Malcolm.
Thanks, Matthew. That's great. And of course, we're going to keep it coming with probably the most significant update with Appian 22.4 around our data fabric capabilities, founded on Appian records. Now, again, to assist me with this section, I'm going to ask Kevin Gajowski to jump in here and walk us through the latest innovations with Appian's data fabric product offering. So over to you, Kevin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Gajewski, and I'm the product lead for our data features in Appian. We've been so excited to introduce our low-code capabilities for data management over the last handful of releases, and I'm happy to say that Appian 22.4 keeps it coming strong. Data fabric is still an emerging term with many definitions, but at its core, it's the idea that you need to connect data across your entire organization and use it as the foundation for building modern business applications. You might be familiar with legacy tools like data warehouses or data lakes that require you to collect all of your data into a single place, forcing you to embark on months-long data migration projects. Instead, A data fabric connects to all of your existing data sources and joins them together to provide performant real-time transactions and analytics on your business data that can be set up in minutes instead of months with no migration required. We've been hard at work building out the capabilities to enable you to stitch together your own data fabric. Typically, when customers buy Appian, they come to us with a bunch of existing systems. Things like an ERP application, some self-managed legacy system, and maybe a CRM tool like Salesforce. They often buy Appian to build some flavor of a case management system at first, like this service request management app on the left. This app ends up with many workflows and data around the management of these service requests, but customers want to be able to interact with their other systems to achieve transformational results. So, Appian allows you to connect these siloed systems and their data together by establishing relationships. This results in a comprehensive data fabric of your enterprise data. This network allows all of your applications to leverage data from anywhere, enabling powerful analytical queries across sources, improving user experience by displaying data from multiple systems in a single place performantly, allowing actions to be taken on this data directly from where you're viewing it, or driving process automation with logic based on the connected dataset. In Appian 22.4, we've continued to make it easier to access, combine, and take action on your data. Let's dive into our latest updates. Now, we haven't only made it easier to connect existing data sources together. You might remember in our last release, we shipped our new no-code data modeling experience that streamlined your data design process. As you create new records from scratch, you'll have an intuitive, no-code experience for building data models and ways to relate them to existing record types. Well, in Appian 22.4, we've made it even easier to bootstrap your application data modeling setup by allowing you to create new related record types inline at the same time. An important part of your data model is making commonly used static data available for reference throughout your app. For example, your reference data might include order status values or task priority values. So while creating or updating a record type, you can simply select the choice list fields options where you can define static values that you want to include. We'll even suggest some like status and priority for you. After that, we do the rest of the steps for you. We generate a related record type for your reference data based on the values you defined. We'll create the corresponding database table for the new related record type with those values populated, and update the existing database table for the current record type so that it links to the new reference data. This makes creating record relationships even easier. These no-code modeling features aren't just for new developers. We're dedicated to improving the process for experienced users as well. As a more experienced user, you probably already have an idea of the relationships you want to create and what common fields you'll need to add to your data structure. So in this release, we're taking the common fields you've manually created in your data structure and suggesting them when you create your relationships. So here I'm adding a customer ID field to my record type. And then when I go and click on customer to add the relationship, the customer ID field is already populated for me. We've also streamlined the experience of deleting fields in the modeling experience. So now you can delete both the reference field and its relationship together, saving you more time. And the last enhancement for our no-code data modeling experience is that Appian now remembers your preferences for downloading the generated database scripts, automatically selecting the same option for you the next time. We know your data model can be large and complex, so we've made it easier to examine and appreciate your beautifully embroidered data fabric by adding more information about where your data comes from and letting you expand the diagram so it's easier to read. Last release, we added database vendor icons to the relationship diagram so you can see where that data was coming from. This release, we've added icons for your web services based on their connected systems so you can have an even more complete picture. Additionally, we've also added the ability to expand the diagram in a dialog to more easily view your complex relationship network. This will help. You can take a screenshot of it or use it in presentations to talk to fellow Appian developers or stakeholders about the data model. Custom record fields have been getting more powerful every release, and we've heard from many of you about how these features have helped eliminate the need to create database views or go and ask for new APIs from your IT department. This release, we've added 2 new functions, custom field match and custom field condition, to build out conditional logic using record data, data across related records, and dynamic date functions like today or now all together. This adds to our growing library of real-time custom record field functions, including replacing default values, date differences, arithmetic functions, and aggregations. Well, we were just talking about how we heard how much you love custom record fields, so this release, we're including the ability to reference existing custom record fields in your real-time custom record fields. So now, even your custom fields can have custom fields. This gives you more flexibility in creating calculations and expands the types of calculations you can define. For example, here I have a record type that already has custom record fields for total order amount and total order count. You can see that I'll create a new custom record field and use the custom field divide function to divide these 2 values to get an average of my orders. And since we keep adding so many new features here, we figured you'll want to make even more custom record fields. So we've gone ahead and doubled the number of total custom record fields you can create on a single record type from 20 to 40. In addition to tables, you can now select Oracle table synonyms as the data source when creating record types with data sync enabled. These are typically used when the table lives in another schema that you don't want to expose or have access to. We continue to work hard to ensure that you can connect to whatever data your applications need. We've added support for PostgreSQL versions 13 and 14. As always, please refer to our product documentation to see all supported RDBMS systems and versions. In 22.4, we've given the system user record type a makeover and have made it data sync enabled. This means you can take advantage of all the sync enabled features that are now hard to live without that accelerate your application design, including adding relationships to the user record type to seamlessly join business data together with user data, creating custom record fields to transform existing fields into the insights that you need, and even applying record level security to determine who can see which users. You can see I'm adding a relationship from the user record here, and I now have that data available to me. On existing sites, you'll have to update your user record by clicking the Update Now button with the blue banner that's shown in this animation. Once you do that, you'll make the record type data sync enabled. We've also enabled query record type for use on the user record type. So not only can you get user data as related record fields when querying your business data, as you can see in this example where I'm querying for customers but filtering them by customers that have an account owner user that is active, I can also query users directly. This means I can write a query that says get all active users on the system, or get all system administrators on the system, or get all the users whose name is Kevin. It provides a lot more flexibility in searching and querying for users that you've ever had before. To give you more power and control in the query editor, you can now use it to add intervals to your groupings and filters on your measures. This means you can now group by year or get the sum of orders for a specific given period of time without writing a single line of code. Last quarter, we simplified your data modeling experience by introducing record data types as process variables and allowing you to write directly to your data sources via records with the write and delete record smart services. This is great for your Appian applications, but as your applications become more widely adopted across your organization, it's possible that another system will need to make changes to that data. To enable this scenario, we've built 2 new Web API templates, write records and delete records. Using these templates, you can quickly build an endpoint to create, update, or delete records on the system. Record type autosuggest gives you the power to browse and reference all of your available fields, relationships, and actions. And this release, we made it even easier and better by allowing you to search for objects with names that contain spaces. This means you can use multiple search terms instead of just a single one to try to match for the correct record type. Every release, we work to improve performance so that you can benefit automatically on upgrade of Appian. This release, we've made updates to record data types and queries. Now that you can use record data types in all parts of your application, including process, it will be even more common to construct them and cast other data types to them. So we've gone ahead and made that up to 90% faster. We've also made querying data via the query record type function and our record powered components up to 20 to 30% faster. That's the update on our data fabric features this release. Back to you, Malcolm.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you everyone also for enjoying those. We've seen a great adoption of the data fabric architecture with the record sync functionality over the past several releases, and look forward to driving this even further in future releases. Transitioning on, we're going to be coming into the last product update sections for 22.4, covering administration, cloud, and support capabilities. And I'm happy to announce the first of these is official support for Windows Server 2022 for self-managed Appian installations. So if you are a self-managed customer, you can now download the Appian installation files after November 11th for 22.4, and that will be compliant with Windows Server 2022, the latest version of Windows Server. Now, for our U.S. government customers, we have an important update around customers who are using us to support federal acquisition, government acquisition management. There's a standard out there called the Procurement Integrated Enterprise Environment. The PIEE is the United States Department of Defense and federal one-stop shop for procurement capabilities, essentially how the U.S. federal government procures all goods and services to support the mission of the U.S. federal government. We now support single sign-on with Appian and the PIEE services. This allows you to leverage single sign-on existing accounts with PIEE to authenticate to your solutions built on the Appian platform that drive compliance to the Federal Acquisition Management Regulations or the Defense Federal Acquisition Management Regulations, the DFAR or FAR. And of course, Appian delivers this in a packaged solution known as the Government Acquisition Management Suite with a variety of capabilities such as vendor management, award management, clause automation, and more to automate the entire lifecycle of federal acquisition procurement. So to get this enabled, we ask that you open a support ticket with Appian to leverage the PIEE capabilities with your specific environment, supporting these government mission needs. Next, we have updates on the locale usage logs. Specifically, Appian supports a variety of languages to enable users around the world to build enterprise-ready applications. To advance our localization efforts, we've added some new locale logs that capture the specific locale settings of your individual users. This allows you to use the logs to get a better understanding of the demographics of your end user community. For the performance improvements we've made on Appian Cloud, we specifically apply this to the web asset endpoint environment. So when your Appian Cloud environment hosted in the commercial regions is upgraded to 22.4, all clients for that environment will begin to retrieve static content resources, also referred to as web assets, from a more performant endpoint. The new web asset endpoint is web-assets.appian-cdn.com. The purpose of this new endpoint is to serve static content such as product images, JavaScript, style sheets, and other files required to display your cloud environments to your client browsers. This endpoint will improve the performance by leveraging a secure content delivery network to serve files with lower latency. You'll need to ensure that the new endpoint, that's web-assets.appian-cdn.com, is allowed on your network so that your clients continue to access your environments without service disruption after the upgrade. So you want to make sure that that specific URL you'll find in the Appian documentation, web-assets.appian-cdn.com, is in your whitelisted URLs to ensure that your users can receive the necessary web assets to load the Appian interfaces. In addition, for enhanced data pipeline and data replication, replicate changes from the Appian Cloud database to downstream repositories such as data warehouses, data lakes, and reporting databases using your change data capture CDC tool of choice. So we now allow this in your replication environment. This feature was delivered in originally 22.1 to select customers as a new mode of data transfer through the Enhanced Data Pipeline service. It is now available for all advanced and enterprise support customers on 22.1 or higher. With the business data replication service, data changes are transmitted incrementally as they happen, allowing consuming systems to keep in sync in near real time. This eliminates the need to write and execute queries periodically for batch-style synchronization, and the traditional mode of operation, now named Enhanced Data Pipeline Business Data Direct Query, remains available. Use the mode of operation that best fits your need, and to help configure this, encourage you to submit a support ticket with Appian's support team. Starting with Appian 22.4, we also allow connections to your Appian cloud environment using any supported AWS managed service when using AWS Private Link. With this way, you can integrate your Appian applications hosted in Appian Cloud seamlessly with any of your AWS managed services, such as S3, RDS, or Cloud HSM. This functionality uses a shared repository model where Appian Cloud will configure the AWS interface endpoint to connect with your AWS endpoint service. But you'll be responsible for configuring and securing your AWS endpoint services and any services behind it as well. Now, for our customers in the Indonesia territory, we're happy to announce that later in November, we will be offering hosting inside the Jakarta, Indonesia data centers. This also supports high availability configuration, which means that we will have 3 replicate data centers in the territory of Indonesia, which allow for triple replication of the entire Appian operating system. Appian Cloud now covers 21 regions globally and 66 availability zones across the entire world. So moving on to our final update, I'd like to invite April Schupel to share a little bit more about the latest going on with Appian community. So passing over to you, April.
Thanks, Malcolm. I'm April Schupel, Senior Developer Advocate at Appian, and I'm excited to be talking through some of our community updates. Let's start with a recap of Appian APJ. Last week, I had the opportunity to head down to Sydney, Australia, and meet with a ton of developers in the APJ region. At the conference, I ran our first ever live build challenge arcade. Developers could come up and see how fast they could build a site with a form that, when completed, would send an email with the details entered. We had over 30 attempts, and in the end, Kin Lee, a solutions architect from Yexel, won with a time of 4 minutes and 19 seconds. This earned him a $500 prize as well as a guaranteed spot in the 2023 Appian World Live Build Challenge. At our upcoming Appian Europe conference, we'll also be hosting a challenge. For the first time, we'll be running the Live Build Challenge at Appian Europe. 4 developers will compete head-to-head on stage in a 30-minute challenge. Winner will take home a £2,500 prize. They'll also earn a spot in the 2023 Appian World Live Build Challenge, which means we'll know who 2 of our 6 competitors will be following Appian Europe. You won't want to miss it. Register for Appian Europe to catch it live on November 16th. Also at Appian Europe, we'll be hosting product expert meetings. This is a chance to meet with Appian product management or an Appian architect to talk in depth about the future of your favorite features, ask specific product questions, learn about best practices, and more. If you're interested, make sure you're registered for Appian Europe and then head over to ap.pn/3SNESZA to book your meeting. Can't make it to the conference? Well, don't forget about all of our great online resources. A few months ago, we launched our Appian Community YouTube channel. This developer-focused channel has expert-led tutorials, tips and tricks, and more for developers of all skill levels. Along with scripted videos, we'll also have live streams allowing you to engage with us in the chat. You can watch the recordings of our first 3 live stream kickoff events or tune in to one of the upcoming live streams. We have a KPMG Low Code for All live stream on November 8th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be live streaming our Appian Europe Live Build Challenge on November 16th from 12:45 to 1:15 GMT. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/Appian Community to subscribe so you don't miss any videos or live streams. Along with resources to learn, we also have ways to show off your skills. We invite you to show off your automation knowledge and experience by taking our new RPA and IDP Pro Badge exam. Pro Badges are skill badges intended to demonstrate proficiency and skill in a particular area. This exam focuses on the various aspects of Appian's automation suite, including when to use smart services, integrations, business rules, and with a particular focus on implementing robotic process automation and intelligent document processing. You can find information on this Pro Badge and other certifications at community.appian.com/learn/certifications. We have another new offering for you, a new hands-on tutorial that's now available in Academy online. So we have the Pocket Library course. It will join the SpaceX course as another fun tutorial for those newer to Appian. This will showcase Appian's mobile capabilities and guide developers through building an app with integration-backed records. After completing the app, you'll be able to use your phone to scan barcodes on books and return details such as the title, author, and book cover through an API. In less than an hour, you'll have a fully functioning app to catalog your personal collection of books or to build out a reading list. Community members, check out the Pocket Library tutorial by clicking the map marker icon next to your user profile image at the top right when signed into Community, and then select Hands-on Tutorials. Last but not least, a reminder about our Low Code for All program. We announced at Appian World 2022 our Low Code for All program. This program guides eligible participants through a clear learning path to complete their Appian Certified Associate Developer exam at no cost through our scholarship program. Upon passing the exam, we'll work together to provide hiring resources and job opportunities through our network of participating partner organizations. If you know someone that you think would make a great Appian developer, encourage them to apply at appian.com/lowcodeforall. And for all of our Appian partners, we encourage you to work with your Appian partner manager to get involved as a hiring partner for this great program. That's all for community updates. Between product announcement webinars, make sure you're regularly logging into Community and keeping up with the Community YouTube channel to stay in the know about our latest resources, initiatives, and events. Back to you, Malcolm.
Awesome, April. Thank you so much for covering that. And thank you all for attending the Appian 22.4 product webinar, and hope to see you also coming up in Q1 for the 23.1 product webinar.